Hi, everybody. Welcome back for another special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Mike Smith, and with us again today we have Brian Grigsby of the Scioto Valley Fellowship of Christian Athletes talking about the upcoming Gus Macker 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And our interview this morning is brought to you by Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor for more than 4 decades. And I think good friends of Brian Grigsby as well.
A little bit.
Yeah. If you need something, whether it's residential or commercial, full disclosure, I've used Accurate for all 3 of these services many times over the years. I can attest service with the sale. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Brian, we're getting closer to opening day for the Gus Macker tournament and kind of putting some finishing touches on preparation.
Yeah, it's the hoops will start showing up on Thursday from Michigan, and they will be down there for us to Thursday evening is when we start with putting the hoops together and getting them ready, and then Friday the streets get shut down and we start doing all things set up on Saturday, and we have a site map that's done and ready, and knowing that it's going to change since this is year 1 for us. There it is. So there's our site map. So we are at the final hours right now of trying to make sure that this happens. So.
It looked like all Water Street, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We are on Water Street. So now that we actually know, the brackets just got released after our last time here. They just got released right before this weekend. And so now we actually know where things are going to be. And actually, Aaron, I hate to tell you that, but that site map is slightly – we just made an adjustment from that site map. Sorry about that.
So what was added to that?
So we actually are going to have a top women's court.
Oh, okay.
Which we didn't expect. But we had enough adult women's teams that marked that they wanted to be a top women's team. And so we actually are a slight adjustment. Instead of having just the top men's in the intersection of Water, we're going to have the top men's on one side of the intersection, and right beside it will be top women's. And so they'll kind of be, you can and the sound booth will be in the middle. And so you can kind of sit and watch both the top women's and top men's at the same time. And there's not as many teams on the top women's court, but it should still be a pretty active court. And then most of the kids' courts will be from Water Street down towards Christie's Pizza, that direction. And then some will go the other direction towards Yaktangi, but then the adults' courts will go up towards Yaktangi as well. And, so it's going to be great, kind of an atmosphere down Water Street. And then, as you could see in there, we had the parking lot there. The municipal lot beside Christie's is going to have our food courts, and we got a dream court in there, which will be fun. And we've got some stuff to talk about with that, and some of our special event courts as well.
I think you told me 30 courts.
20 courts.
20 courts, I'm sorry.
20 courts.
How many teams are registered?
We have 176 teams registered, which I'm very excited about. One of the things that we're hoping for this year, not that we don't want adults to play, like that's not the goal, but we do have an aim for this to be as kid-friendly and family-friendly as possible, driving the numbers as best we can towards the youth. And so we have 65% of our teams that are 18 and under, which is good. The last couple years, or the last couple tournaments and previous years before it left in 2015, it was usually about a 50-50 split. And so we did have an increase in youth participation this year. Our biggest age bracket is 10 to 14-year-olds. Then we have some under 10, and, of course, some high school teenage kids. And so, so it's 19 courts of playing action all weekend. So.
It's my understanding you have ample referees. What you might be needing on Sunday morning are scorekeepers.
Yes, Sunday morning in particular, we need more scorekeepers still. So if you are interested in being a scorekeeper, it takes no skill at all, a little bit of ability to pay attention, and you'll give a clipboard, and you just keep score so that the referee, doesn't have to try to keep score and keep track of fouls while the game is going on. It's not an official book that is like a little bit more challenging to keep. It's just a score sheet, and you get to sit there, and if you register quickly, we'll make sure that you have a shirt in your size as a volunteer. And if you're a person who would potentially be missing church because of that, well, we were fortunate that we have a church service that will happen on Dream Court at 7:30 that morning on Sunday morning until 8. And that, I think, will be a really good blessing for our teams that have to play early, but then also for our volunteers that will be coming to volunteer. They'll get a chance to come and just to fellowship and worship together before we get kicked off.
You want to give a shout-out to the sponsors of this event?
Yes, so Norse has stepped up big this year and has been one of our presenting sponsors. As you said, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, which I am slightly favorite to since they employed me for almost a decade. They are one of our presenting sponsors, and Tom White, who's been on the show with me before. And then Adina Health, they were a sponsor last year, and then they returned as our presenting sponsor this year. And those three sponsors in particular have been a huge blessing for us this year. And I should have brought a whole list. We've been putting it on our social media site, but we have so many sponsors this year. It's crazy. And I can run through a couple of our features once we talk through the schedule. But yes, it's going to be, we're very blessed. And every court, we have 19 courts. Every court has a court sponsor.
Yeah, fantastic.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yes, we're excited about that.
Player registration starts this Friday, late afternoon?
It does. 4 o'clock down at the shelter house. The Rotary Shelter House is where registration will be on Friday evening, 4 to 7. Our team will be down there ready. And it is important to come. You have to get measured. If you're someone who's coming to register, you got to make sure you have a birth certificate, or if you're over 16, a license, so that way they can verify your age, and then you'll get your wristband, your shirt. We have a bag for every player that's got stuff in it for them, and so they'll pick that up. If they can't come on Friday, then you can come Sunday or Saturday morning early before you play and do the same thing. It'll be at the shelter house, just beside the lake there below where the courts are at.
And that Saturday morning registration's at 7.
Yeah. Starts at 7, and then it'll go until noon or so once kind of everybody gets there and registers.
Right. So. Opening ceremony is at 8.
8 o'clock is when we get started. Yep, you can see it here on Top Men's Court. And I've never been a part of opening ceremonies, to be completely transparent. And so I'm excited. I've watched some videos of others, but Gus will be there. We'll get things started. There's an opening shot to kick things off. And we'll probably do some feature thank yous and just kind of get things, get the energy up. Gus is a good energy guy, so he'll get things rolling.
We're talking about this on our newscast today, the Litter Media 3-point shot challenge. That's at 10, starts at 10. How does that work? What's the concept of that?
Great question. So that is, we appreciate you guys for being the sponsor for that, which is huge for us. But basically you pay $1 and you shoot 10 threes. And then we just track, and we just have a leaderboard.
Wow.
And throughout the day. So that'll run from 10 o'clock, and then we'll start, and that'll run until about 4. And we'll have different age brackets. And so it'll be like a girls, let's see, I think we're doing a girls 14 and under or 12 and under. I can't remember what we said the age was. And then there'll be a girls like 12 or 18 and under. And then there'll be an adult division, and we'll have a girls and boys on the youth level. So technically we'll have kind of a leaderboard going for those different divisions. And then at the end of the day, what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 2 out of each of those, and they get to come back for what we're calling Macker Madness that night during the dunk contest. And so they will actually do a shoot-off to get crowned as the ultimate 3-point champion that night.
Oh, wow.
Winner gets $100 cash to be the 3-point champion, and then they just pay $1 during the day if they want to compete and if they want to keep going. And then we're actually very fortunate that Young Life, another local ministry here with our teens, they are going to be kind of operating that for us. So this will actually be a fundraiser for them. And so if you're paying $1, that's basically Young Life is kind of doing the using that as a fundraiser for them. They're actually looking to send kids to camp this summer. Okay. So they're utilizing it as a fundraiser so they can scholarship kids to go to camp. So
working together with other faith groups here in the community that deals with young people to try to get the good news, capital Amen. G, capital N.
Amen.
What are some other things that you wanted to touch on here today?
So you brought it up with our 3-point shootout that we'll have. On Sunday, we'll have that court will be on the backside of Dream Court in the parking lot. Sunday, Young Life is doing a different competition, and it's going to be called the Hot Shot competition. So it'll be, I think it's either 30 or 60 seconds on the clock. I should know that. Okay. I think it's 60 seconds on the clock, and there's different spots around the court, and you got 60 seconds, and for every shot you make at different spots, you get different point values. And the same thing at the end of the day on that one, we'll just have a champion at different divisions, youth, adults, kids. And, Yeah, so we'll have different champions. So they'll run that from 10 a.m. until probably about 2 p.m. on Sunday. And so that'll be fun. And you don't have to be a participant in Gus Macker to do that.
That's
you
my
can
next question.
You can be a parent, a sibling. You can be anybody that's just a spectator that's there. And if you want to try to get in on the fun and just shoot around and get some shots up and try to see if you still got it if you're old like me, then you can do that. And then Saturday night, I'm looking forward to. So we have two kind of feature events throughout the weekend that's really I'm excited for our community to come out to. So Saturday night, we will have the dunk contest, and we'll have the three-point shootout that we mentioned. But then we also have former high state player Lawrence Funderburk coming down. He's up in Columbus, so he's going to be coming down. And so he's going to be interacting with people, and he'll be sharing that evening. He'll actually be sharing kind of his testimony and his and the gospel and talking about his faith journey. His wife is actually from Chillicothe, and so he has some ties here to the community and likes to come back to invest here. And so he's going to be coming and doing that for us on Saturday. So that'll be a really cool opportunity, I think especially for parents, because probably more of the parents of the kids playing know Lawrence, remember him playing, remember him getting drafted and playing overseas, playing for the Kings and, some of that kind of stuff. And then Sunday afternoon, we'll have a break on top men's court at noon. And there's a gentleman named Justin Fatika, and Justin's coming from New York, Syracuse, New York area. And so he's a New Balance AAU basketball coach, and he also has this thing called Your Amazing Fitness. And he's a speaker. I mean, that's what he does for a living outside of coaching. And he actually has like a documentary movie that's being made on his team in New York. And anyway, so he was willing to come. He's going to be in the Columbus area this week. And so he was willing to come on Saturday, and he's going to be speaking on Saturday. And he's a very energetic, high-level speaker. You can watch. He did an intro video for us that's on our Facebook page that you can check out. That's really it's going to be a great environment, atmosphere just for him to kind of be here. His whole team's coming, and so they'll be there to talk and to share. And he's just a really... Like, if you listen to him speak, you'll be blessed. Like, you'll be encouraged. You'll be ready to go, in the football world, run through a wall. Maybe not in basketball. But, yeah, it's just I'm really excited for him to be coming and doing that as well. So,
again, we're talking about the Gus Macker 3-on-3 tournament, but this serves as a fundraiser for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes that covers the Scioto Valley. I think you said one of the last visits you had 14 schools you're in now?
We do, yeah.
But growing.
Yeah. It is growing, and we're blessed that we keep getting schools and coaches and administrators reaching out to us about how do we get FCA in our school, and which is a blessing for us. One of the biggest hurdles that we have right now is being able to, okay, if we're gonna start a huddle or we're gonna start FCA at this school, we want to do it with excellence. We want to do it on a solid foundation, and so in doing so, we have to be patient. But we also have to have the right pieces in place to be able to do that. Right. And for us to just do it on a whim sometimes can mean that it will not be sustainable and healthy. And so we want them to be sustainable and healthy. So one of the things that we have never done locally as a ministry is we've never done a fundraiser. We've been doing this in Southern Ohio for a little over 4 years, and we've never done a fundraiser. We meet with churches. We meet with families. And all of our funds for the ministry come from our local support raising. And so we don't do a golf outing. We don't do a banquet, things like that a lot of nonprofits or ministries do. And we've just never felt like we've been called to do that. And then when this got presented to us, it felt like the perfect win situation for us because, yes, it's sports, but also on top of that, it allows us to do ministry with the opportunity of it also being a fundraiser. And then, like you just mentioned, it's also an opportunity for us to do a unifying event that's not just all about FCA. Yeah. We have Young Life involved. We have LifeWise Academy involved. We have the Recovery Councils helping with things. So it's like we get to really bring a lot of people together and it benefiting them, not just us. But yes, a byproduct of it is hopefully that a lot of these sponsors, what it allows us to do is be a fundraiser, but for us to really invest into this event. Like we have Bibles and resource table with all kinds of stuff on it. We have Jesus One wristbands that we're going to be able to give out. And so just a lot of things that we're going to be able to do simply because the sponsors have stepped up to make sure that we're healthy. And then, of course, we want to raise money off of this because we need more staff people in Southern Ohio. I guess that's what I was getting to. Long way of getting to. We need more staff people in Southern Ohio for FCA so that when schools call and they want to start a huddle, we have people there that can come alongside those volunteers and coaches to help them develop FCA in that school. And right now, in FCA's world, they say we don't want one of our staff people handling more than 4 to 6 schools. I handle 14.
Wow.
Well, what that means is I don't handle them to the level of excellence that I think they should be handled at. And so for us to take on more schools is a challenge. We also have other opportunities, events that we want to do. But right now it's all falling on the staff that we have in the area, which right now is me and my wife. And then a lot of volunteers, which is awesome, but we need to increase our staff. So one of the things that we think that Gus Macker would be a catalyst for us to generate awareness about FCA, but then also to raise funds so that we can start the process of bringing on more staff in Southern Ohio, which would be huge for us.
And if you are an entrepreneur, a business person out there, or you just feel led to help young people from time to time, here's a guy you want to call right here. He can put you to work or put your money to work for the kingdom. So how would they get a hold of you for something like that?
Yeah, so our Facebook page that we've been using, there's the Gus Macker page, but there's also a Southern Ohio FCA page. But also our website, it's just southernohiofca.org. And you can go to that website, and it will direct you to me personally, actually, right now. And then our contact information, my personal contact information has been all over everything. And so if you want to hear more about the ministry of what does it look like to invest my time and my treasure into something that has eternal impact, reach out to me. I will love, most people know I love coffee. And so if you want to sit down to have coffee or lunch or breakfast or whatever and just chat, I will talk your ear off about what I'm most passionate about, which is investing into these high school kids.
You guys usually have a summer camp also, don't you?
We have a summer basketball camp coming up, which we'll be promoting a lot at Gus Macker. It's for ages 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And we do it at Unyota High School locally, but it's a regional style camp. And we do a basketball camp. Coach Eric Huffer, one of our local coaches, runs it. And then we get a lot of other local coaches that come. And so, in my opinion, this will be our 3rd year, and I think we are already, in my opinion, the best basketball camp in Southern Ohio. Yeah. We have unbelievable coaches that show up. I mean, Coach Miller from Unyota shows up. Coach Combs from Unyota shows up. Coach Snyder at Adena, was at Adena. He shows up. Coach Schultz up at Logan Elm shows up. And there's more that I'm missing. But we just have a lot of coaches from the area that it gives them a platform to just show up and coach. Right. They're not organizing it. They're not worried about ordering T-shirts. They're not worried about registrations. They get to show up and coach. And so we get that blessing. But then you get around kids that are like from other schools and not just your school. And so I think because of that, that also makes the camp a really good camp for the kids themselves to develop as basketball players. So it's a good camp for our youth. And then we have some more high school stuff, but that's usually during the school year. So.
And not only basketball skills, but it also gives these young people an opportunity to see maybe people that they're competing with during the season. Hey, you're walking the same walk I'm walking.
So it's funny you say that. I don't want to talk too much, but
hey, we got time, man.
So I'm an Adena guy, so I don't like Unyota much. And so
But I love them.
I love them. Yeah. And I'm there right now. I mean, I get to serve with their FCA group right now, but their FCA group started. It's a fun story. Their FCA group started because we had our basketball camp there. And Coach Miller got some of the players from the high school team to come and serve at the camp. Mm-hmm. Well, one of those players actually was Newton Hoops. And he came and played or helped coach, and he fell in love with it. And so he's like, why don't we have FCA at Unyota? And I said, well, let's get it going. And so him and a couple of other players really were the catalyst for us to get FCA started there. And I told my wife after the camp, I said, the first day, I'm like, this is really starting to annoy me, but I'm starting to fall in love with Unyota people. And this is a healthy rivalry for the most part. But yeah, and so Newton and a bunch of other guys, or actually it's a bunch of the girls players, were the catalyst for us to get union or their FCA started there, which now meets on a school, and now they've get 50, 60 kids there every week at their huddle, and it's powerful. And now Newton is actually right now he's a part of Athletes in Action on Ohio Dominican, where he's playing football. And so he got connected with AIA. He's actually at Ultimate Training Camp right now, growing in his walk. And it's a blessing to see. But again, kind of a catalyst but again, you kind of get around people that are from other schools that you don't know them. And then all of a sudden you can compete against them. But then you get to know them at a camp. It's like, man, they're actually a really good guy.
Right.
And his whole senior year, as you can imagine, I'm rooting for Newton like crazy because this was going into his senior year. I'm like, man, I want this kid to succeed so much because I got to know him. I didn't just know him because of his athletic ability on the court. I got to know him as a guy. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I want to root for that guy. So it's fun to get around people from other schools.
Good stories. Good stories. Again, Gus Macker 3-on-3 sponsored some great sponsors, but it's a fundraiser for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Scioto Valley, which is 14 schools right now. I can't think of too many better ways that you can put your time and your money into investing in young people than with this organization. These schools are reaching out to them for a reason, because they see the need. Brian Grigsby, thanks for what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
God bless you. Our interview today brought to you by Accurate Heating, Cooling, and